Let's see if we can actually get an actual stream notification for it this time. Hey! We actually have a stream notification, I know, right? Absolutely incredible. We are finally in the presence of a tier 4 stream. Alright. We're just wait. Give it a couple minutes. Probably give it to 8 o'clock. For people to start actually getting in to the stream here. Because well, it's been a while since we've had a tier 4 it's been a while since we've seen a tier 4 stream, I think. Just a slight while. Just a slight one. Only been 3 weeks. No biggie. No biggie whatsoever. Let me also tag tier 4 chat while I'm at it. Let me just tag in the actual chat as well, so people won't miss it. Live. That should give us a good enough set for people to actually get on. Auto's here. You can stop complaining about your stream now, Auto. Yes, before you say anything, Auto, yes, I did see you in Ross's stream looking for it. I was commenting in Ross's stream as well. Yeah, just give it an extra minute or two, and we'll get the rest of it. We'll get Bathurst underway here. Sprint race could be a very interesting conundrum. I'm not going through the grid because we've established before that the grid on the Bathurst replays are just existing. I guess they don't actually make an awful lot of sense. They start right beside each other, so there's not an awful lot of movement being able. There's not an awful lot of actual telling who got where. We'll just have to roll with it as we go along. I've just been asked what's comms in the. Just give it a couple minutes. I'm just responding to Loved On here. I'm gonna have to put up the. I love it when people are feeling like they're about to break the floors in my house. That's incredible. I don't know if anyone could hear that massive thud that just went on behind me, but I'm gonna have to get the stream up here and make sure that I can actually see the comments. You know, before we start, my is my mic good? First off, is my mic good? And second off, Charizard, my feature race was like a 9, but no comment about the sprint. Yeah, we're British. You don't pronounce the T's in Britain, and like that doesn't happen. Come on. Since when was that a thing? Yeah, since when was that a thing? All right. Well, I'm not going through the grid, so we'll get this sorted very quickly in a minute. Just everyone else has got in. We've got 7 people watching. That's good enough for me. And that means that we are pretty much ready to get underway here in a very slightly delayed Bathurst commentary session for the sprint here. 15 minutes on the clock, and it's 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go at the start here. Who's going to get the best start down into turn 1 is definitely not Monty, who's just not got off the line whatsoever. Down to turn 1, Ethan is still in the lead. Jury's got up in the second. Monty decided that going lawnmowing is the best way of best use of his time through turn 1. But it looks like everyone has managed to survive going through the opening corner of the lap, the opening corner of the race as a whole. As we head down toward turn 2 now, the long straight. And, you know, Ethan is still hanging on against Jury, and it looks like a couple of people have gone wide. We'll go, just skip back just a little bit here, so I can get a good look at who's just had an absolute calamity of a second corner here. And I think, yeah, Ethan's gone wide. He hit the wall. Monty's hit the wall as well. I don't think Hans has had the greatest of corners either. Otto managing to get past him there. Monty dropped to 5th, still on the inside, holding on for now as Amy goes to the inside of Monty and has a little bit of contact there, and Amy goes by. I think that would have been a push to pass if that was reported. It's still nonetheless Amy on and past Monty in the opening stages of this race. I think this is Amy's first race of the season as well. We continue here on lap 1 now at the top of the hill. See if we can find any sort of overtakes that may be brewing. Amy and Monty still going side by side. I was about to say, we're going side by side down the hill. It's going to end up in an absolute tragedy. But it looked like they grew a little bit of common sense there as Amy takes up 5th position. Is handed in the wall. I think Boa's followed him. Oh, we're just going to have a very quick look at that. Hand, yep, just doesn't break, and neither does Boa, who's just, yeah, he's been collected after hitting the wall himself, so damage left, right, and centre. Coming on here, as we come back up the grid, Vidria and Aldi is an interesting call. Stio has done his normal, everyday thing of, I will only show up for the first race of the season, first sprint race of the season, and nothing else. It's almost, oh, where on earth is Mark going there? Mark is having a bit of a moment going down into the final chicane, and he's somehow held on against Deco for the moment in time. As we're still going up the grid, and we're going to just take a quick look at these two going side by side through the final corner on the lap. Mark should be able to hold on. No, he won't, because he's just too slow on the inside. The exit not doing him any favours either. Deco up into 12th. Vidvia about to go for this as well in the Audi on the inside, and there's more contact, but Vidvia able to go on through, and I think Stio might be looking to peer through a hole and will do as well as he takes up the mantle of being 14th place now. Vidvia just in front. We're going a little bit further up the grid now. Turkey lost out to Deco as well. The McLarens once again not off to a good start in tier 4. Going up the hill again now. Amy still ahead of Monty. Otto in 4th. Doing about enough as it stands. And you've got just Ethan in 3rd. Actually started up in the lead of the race. Just dropping down just a little bit. Jin in 2nd. Oh, well, he was in 2nd. Then he had an absolute nightmare twice there. One on the inside, one on the outside. And that is not going to be a good way to conduct a race. He not got damage. Yeah, he got damage on the front right and the front bumper. Not too surprising with the way he just clattered the wall there. And Ethan goes on by without much of an issue there at the top of the hill. Now Jin's got to find a bit of a rhythm again as we go into the end of lap 2 with Jury a mile and a half away. We're usually used to seeing this in tier 2, where Ben usually gets to the front of a sprint race and then disappears, never to be seen again. It looked like that man is being taken up by Yuri this time in tier 4. We're going a little bit further back. I think there was a little bit of side-by-side there. It might have ended up in a bit more than a side-by-side. I think Amy is in the grass. Let's have another look. Amy and Monty coming down the back straight toward the final chicane. What's happened here? Monty's gone deep. Monty's gone very deep, and Monty, yep, taking himself and Amy off the track as a whole, and that is never a good thing. Amy has apparently decided that the grass on the outside is a good idea as well. Has gotten that now peers into the distance. And Amy deep again into more grass. You have to avoid that at every opportunity. We got a yellow flag, which means somebody has had a bit of an issue. I think that somebody may be in a Supra. Let's have a look. We go around the final corner here. Oh, too much on the outside. An auto just getting a little bit of grass and, well, somehow getting ghosted on no ghosting, which is impressive in its own right. And then doesn't get ghosted there as Saeed comes by. So does Deco. An auto would probably have got a penalty if someone reported that. He's just doing donuts on a track, trying to get himself back in the right direction. Well, doesn't look too good either, and I think Auto's got off again. It's not a good start for Auto in this race whatsoever, down to 14th. We continue on. We've got Deco and Saeed now in the battle for 8th, the Ferrari. And I think, I'm not entirely sure what car that is for Deco. Yeah, it's also something. That's for certain. It is one of the somethings of all time as Saeed goes deep here. And here comes Deco in the Porsche on the outside. I'm not entirely sure I missed that last time. It says it has giant Porsche letters on the back of his car. And it doesn't look like he's able to get it done, or is he? He's going to have a little bit of contact there with Saeed, but Saeed doing just about enough to hold on against that Porsche. Deco not quite doing enough. Deco getting a little bit wrong, and I think we've had a bit of an issue between the two of them as we hit the top of the hill. Let's have another look at Deco. Looked to the inside of Saeed before, and that caused him to slow off the gas a little bit. And the McLaren caught up. Let's see what happened as we go down. Oh, Deco, and oh, they've had separate incidents, I think, there. Deco somehow survived clipping the inside wall and then going onto the grass. Turty did not survive whatsoever on the top of the hill on the inside, which is an impressive spin in its own right. You know, both are there with Gunnad and Amy for 5th as it stands in this race. The two Peugeots trying to make something out of this. We've got the front three in their little triplet. Then we've got these three in the second little triplet here. And after that point, there's a large gap between them and anybody else, that's for certain. Also looks like we've got someone just in 4th, just on their own a little bit here. Yeah, it's Monty, who's just about on the, actually might be dragged into the front of this battle now, with Amy, Gunmad and Bota right behind. And if he continues to screw up the exits of some corners like he has been doing in the last couple of corners, he'll do well enough right now just to hang on and keep himself relatively safe in 4th. Yuri, a comfortable lead right now, an entire corner ahead of, I think, yeah, of Ethan in 2nd. Then you got Jin in 3rd. Jin actually doing something after being promoted last season, after being promoted as champion of Tier 5 last season, may I add. Won one race the entire season, benefit from his teammate missing 2. But a champion nonetheless. Let's see if he can get anything higher than the 3rd he currently is right now, albeit I think he might take the 3rd that he currently is. It doesn't look like Monty's clear, as well as Amy's just having a bit of an issue there. And surprisingly doesn't have damage going through the middle of the uphill section. And I just realized that Amy is also in the Alpha Super, so I guess the teammates with Auto in this season. Auto being winning the first race of the season, first feature race of the season in that Super 97 in Austria. Also, Bota gets ahead of Gunmad, who must have had a bit of an issue himself. As we're on lap 4 now, it's about halfway through the race. Deco did get in front of Saeed eventually. And they got Vidya directly behind that. A couple of guys following on the back of them as well. I think one of them is a McLaren. Auto also trying to get himself involved Australian Grand Prix? Is this not a track in Australia? And is this not a series of events that happen across the country, like across international borders, that also happens to be a series of events? We have been through this one already, Capel. We have made this establishment where this is a Grand Prix. We're not fighting this. This fits the definition quite aptly. But, yeah, Yuri currently in the lead of this race by quite a considerable margin, and Ethan in second, doing his best to try and hang on. Jin is in third right now, just not really. Screw you, Capel. Screw you. Yeah, Jin not really making any sort of inroads in the front two and the front three. Just kind of living their own lives. Same with Monty in fourth right now, actually. The closest battle we've got, the front six, is fifth and sixth. Both are not really close enough to Amy, but still trying to hang on nonetheless. Gunmad in seventh, just driving on his own as well. Deco and Saeed relatively close, but not overtaking distance, with Auto trying to tag himself on the back of that currently, and reverse grid pole, which is exactly what he did in Austria, and it worked out quite well for him there. The back three realistically not able to do anything on their not really able to do anything in this race at all. Let's have a look who they are, as we're trying to search for an overtake or two, try and make something out of this one. Hans has got a 2.5 second penalty as we go down to the end of lap 5 here. I think it's like 7 laps, this one. God damn it, Whack. It looks like, hey, yeah, Hans is going to serve his penalty now. And there goes Mark, just to the outside. Hans should probably have got off the racing line there. You need to be a little bit more careful. The two McLarens, again, Fracas is barreling into another wall. And the two McLarens, once again, just not getting up to speed in this season. By this point in Tier 2, the McLarens were switched off as well. They kind of started, in Tier 2, they started to actually go somewhere after this point. So it might be the last race of pain here as well for Turkey and Fracas, as we're just going to have a little bit further up, look further up the grid, see if anything is actually going to unfold, because nothing is really happening right now. We've gone to lap 6. Got everyone reasonably oh yeah, I'm aware that it's the 2013 Nissan. I can spot my baby when I see one. That's the only race car I've ever won a race in ALR. I can spot one of those from a mile away. Unfortunately, it got nerfed into oblivion, so I can't use it ever again. Unless they actually decide to is it going to be a decent car at some point. But yeah, no, I've definitely I can definitely tell where a Nissan 13 when I spot one. Well, when I see one even. I have to try and find something relatively entertaining until, well, I think we may have just found one. Here comes Yuri and Ethan on the second to last lap, I think, here, the second or third to last lap, through into the chicane, and gets in front of Yuri as well. So Ethan had the lead of the race to start, lost it early, but gained it back almost at the end of this race. 12 minutes gone. Is there a sting in the tail yet to come? Ethan in control right now. Yuri's had a large control over this race at this point, but something must have happened down the hill for him to yield that lead there to just Ethan, who's just taken the lead. As we now head down towards 2, and it's the Lancer, of course it is, against, I think, that might be an 18, that's going here. Let's see if Ethan can hold on. Ethan on the outside, Yuri on the inside. Is he going to be able to do it? Is he going to be able to hold on? Still on the inside, going through 3, and Yuri's gone deep. Yuri's gone deep into the wall, and that might just about be enough to hold for just Ethan, and it is. That was just a very, very slightly costly mistake. And Yuri now needs to find a different place to go by, as we're running out of time here for Yuri to end up winning this sprint race. Can Ethan hold on with possibly a lap and some change to go in this one? Yeah, these two at the very least will get to the extra lap, that is for certain. So we will be doing 8 laps in this race at the front. Yuri's got about a lap and a quarter now then to actually make something happen. If he wants to take back the lead of the race he's had for a large portion of this Tier 4 sprint race. He heads down the straight now. The slipstream will help him. That Lancer, if I remember right, is not in the greatest in terms of the straight line speed. As here we go down toward the final chicane, and it isn't going to happen here for Yuri. Is it going to happen somewhere else? Ethan would be really hoping that that's the finish line. And we were a minute later into this race, but it's not, so he's got to go for one more. He's gone over the line for the final lap in the lead of this race. One more attempt at defending to do now, because realistically the track's not wide enough. If you can put your car straight in the middle here, you should be fine, but Ethan is not going to do that for some reason. As he now moves over to the middle, it took him a while, maybe too long. As we see Yuri just start to try and take a look now to the outside. Just having another look, but not really forcing the issue up the hill. As we go for the lead of this race, we're now on the final lap, so it's just going to be the final 3 that don't make it through. And we're now heading up the hill. Yuri's going to have realistically one more chance at this. And it'll be right at the bottom of the hill. He needs a good exit out of that out the downhill section to get a run here on Ethan, if he is going to end up winning this race. Or will Ethan make a mistake, as he's currently in the lead of this race, currently in control of the downhill section. That Lancer has just sent it and got a great run into the downhill section, pulled very much close to that car, and Ethan now has to defend with his life. And they go down the hill, and Ethan hasn't done it. Ethan hasn't done it. He's gone too deep, and he's gone straight to the wall, but he's still in front for the moment in time. Yuri is very close, though, and they head down the straight, and I don't think Ethan's got enough left in the tank to hold off Yuri one more time. As we go down the back straight toward the final chicane, can he do it? Can he hold on? Or will it be Yuri's day? Yuri on the inside. Yuri's got in front with 3 to go as we go round the final chicane. And it's going to be Yuri who hits the front. Will he hold on? Can he hold on through the final corner? Yuri just ahead of Ethan. Ethan giving it up right at the end, but Ethan's got a better run. But it's too little too late, as Yuri is going to go to the line and win in the sprint race here at Bathurst by the smallest of margins to Ethan, who gets second. Jin finishes on the podium. Monty gets 4th, Amy 5th, Botas 6th. And I'm just going to pull my mic a little bit further away. I don't know if that was too loud for everybody. Deco in 7th, Gunmad gets 8th, Deco ending up getting another position. Saeed 9th, Auto getting reverse grid pole, because of course he does. Mark gets 11th, Hand is going to be in 12th here. Yeah, he's going to come over. Bidia is going to round out the group. 13th, 14th, Fracas in 15th, Steo in 16th, all not even getting on the final lap. And once again, I'll bring up the point that Steo shows up for the first race of the season, i.e. having won the sprint in Austria this season, won the opening sprint in Deep Forest the prior season as well, and doesn't do anything for the rest of the year. It's absolutely impeccable. The actual just, oh God almighty. Otto's just making worse and worse jokes every single week. As we're just loading up the feature race here. Just getting everything loaded up real quick. If you give me a minute, I'm going to take a drink. My voice very slightly recovers in between these two. Make sure that nobody sees the outcome. You've all probably forgotten the outcome by this point as well. It's been 3 weeks. Stuart, is that you? Jin is potentially recognizing someone in chat. I mean, the username tracks. But yeah, right. We're just everything loaded up now. Let's just sort out the displays and everything that's going on. Hold on a minute. Hello, Tay. What the hell is going on here? I am seeing this right? Because on my end, I don't think Gunmad's first. As much as Gunmad would love to be first, I don't think he is. I think Auto's meant, yeah, blue flag to the front. That is just, GT is just a weird game, isn't it? That's a new one. I don't think I've seen that one before. Yeah, it's definitely a glitch. Definitely a glitch. It's the first time I think I've ever seen it show up on an actual replay, though. That's the thing. I think that's the first time I've ever seen that show up. Yeah. Alright, let's have a look. It'll sort out after turn 1, yeah. I don't even think it'll get to turn 1 before it sorts itself out. So, I guess we'll go through. Gunmad on mediums, softs for mediums for Saeed, Deco on mediums, a large chunk of the lobby on mediums, apparently. We got Amy on the softs, mediums for Monty, softs for Jin, Ethan on softs as well, Yuri, Mark on mediums. I'm also sure that's not allowed either. I mean, that's the benefit of me doing these late, I guess. You can't get punished for it. But I'm pretty sure that's been banned for 4 seasons. I know that because me and Skittles were the ones who got that ban. That'd be 5 seasons, actually, by this point. It was season 8, I think? Season 9? And with the Nissan. The Nissan spec series, the Japanese JDM spec series that we did. Yeah, you're not allowed to do that. Well, that's certainly something. Someone might want to tell him that I'm going to make sure that I've done that in other races. They got Vidya on medium tyres, softs for Turkey, softs for Fracas, and mediums for Steo, who should probably have got heads up from his own teammate, because apparently they're on split strategies. Alright, now we've got through the absolute shambles that has been this grid. Let's go into the actual race itself, as Auto is going to take us away in the actual lead of the race by an absolute country mile to Saeed, who is currently in second. You profited off the early acceleration glitch, because apparently we haven't had enough glitches already in this lobby. Apparently they needed a couple more. Auto is very much away already, and as long as he doesn't screw this up, it's his to lose. As we go through this one with Saeed in second, Gunmad in third, we finally have the grid shaken out now. Deco managing to open up an early gap as well from Boto, who's in fifth, Amy in sixth. The gaps are already starting to form after turn 1 and 2. And we head up the hill again. And this time Amy up the inside of Boto. Boto doing just about enough to hang on. Monty trying to see a way through now as well, but doesn't go for it. definitely could have. On the inside there, in turn, has whacked himself into a wall and got damage on his front left. We got Jin, who's right beside him, and needs to get in front of him as soon as possible, and does, as literally the next corner, the Corvette is able to drive on by. As we start, well, at the start of this race, we're on lap 1 of 19, I believe this race is going to be. 18 or 19. There's Monty dropping all the way down to 8th. Yuri in 9th, Ethan in 10th. The opposite way of that, they started Hans in 11th. It looked like Marks had a bit of an issue there. 1.5 second penalty and a whack into the wall as well. Overtaken by Turkey, who's gone up into 12th. Let's hope the McLarens can actually figure out what a race looks like this time. Stio is going to get past Mark really easily here, so will Vidvia, and Fracas should as well. And there goes Mark to the back of the grid as we now heading back up. Monty is in 8th, still Jin in 7th, and you got Amy and Saeed. Saeed must have had an issue. Saeed's had, oh yeah, Saeed has had an issue. Here we go. Going down into the final chicane. Gunmad's got in front and got into a good rhythm here. Goes to the inside. And Saeed is just deep. He didn't even get, it wasn't even helped off the track that time. He just got it wrong. Got it heinously wrong there at the beginning of the race. And well, the end into the final chicane. He got it wrong again. He's in the wall this time. He's on the grass and in the wall again. Saeed, that's grass there. You don't want to be on the track, I can tell you that much. Off the track even. Saeed has got again, and this time he's going down the escape road. And he might be trying to escape the escape road now as well. We've got Fracas who's gone round. There's just an absolute chaos. We go into turn 1 here. Fracas on in front of Vidvia. And Fracas just loses it. In the McLaren is an interesting place to lose it, but it had lost it and then goes lawn mowing across the grid. Saeed has left the race, which is an interesting one. Fracas not having a good start either. But we got a few things going on here. There's Vivian Mark going at it. Stio and Turkey in 10th, 11th and 12th as well. Oh, and there goes Turkey into a wall this time. The McLarens are not enjoying themselves whatsoever. It's a McLaren, boys. It's not that hard to drive. As I say that, Stio goes into the wall behind him. And we're gonna replay this one. And I'm gonna put my favourite tagline on again, where I blatantly point out that Stio only does something for the first race of the season. He clipped the inside and clipped the outside as well. And you aren't going to recover. You might be able to recover from 1. You certainly aren't going to recover from 2 as Turkey hits the wall again. You got Ethan here with a front bumper damage as well, with a front right tire damage as well on his car too, in a 2-second time penalty. And absolute calamity here for some of the cars at the back of the grid. Hans getting a little bit deep down the hill as well now. This back of the grid has not got off to a good start. Ethan's going to serve his penalty to drop him behind Hans. And we're just going down and seeing what is going on right now. Yuri up in the 7th, Jin in 6th. We've got the Peugeots fighting as well up in front. At the front of this gaggle of cars. This, I say gaggle, it's basically 3/4 of the goddamn lobby that sits themselves within a 2 or 3 second gap. We head down the final straight. Yuri just giving it a look in second. Well, he looked made a once over, tried to get us twice over as well as Jin gets a little bit rough on the exit of the final corner. And that might be an invitation, if I could speak English, to Yuri on the inside in turn 1. But now he's going to go in a drag race with a Corvette, and he's in a Lancer, so that is not a drag race he's going to win. And we're right, it's not a drag race he wins, as Jin is going to hang on to that place for now. This marks the end of his... I didn't even realise Mark's gone as well. God damn it. Yuri's got Jin right in front of him, Monty right behind him. Hans also there and thereabouts. Deco also just in front here, going after Bota. Those two are side by side at the top of the hill. Bota should be able to hang on, and Deco is not able to hang on to the car at all. And I think Jin is involved here too. Let's have a look. A little bit of an issue. Oh, tapped and then the grass, and he collects Jin as well. Oh, and that is not how you want to have that one go at all. Monty should be able to blow by Jin, who should have damage and does have damage to that front right. Definitely not surprising considering he just barreled into a car, which is not usually a good way of keeping your car intact. The Yuri will take it, gains an extra position or two out of that without realistically having to do much. Bota, I don't think Bota did anything wrong there. I'm not going to lie. It looked relatively clean. Just looked like your 2 into 1 just doesn't work up the top of the hill, because we all know that. This is Bathurst. That's literally how the track is designed. We're going anyway. We're seeing here the front of the grid is a Super 1-2 right now. Super 97's in complete control of this race at this point in time. Here comes Yuri on the outside of Bota, who's just trying to hang on to his 4th place, and does so rather easily. On the inside there against Yuri, also Jin for good measure, who's lost out to both. Here comes Gunmad on Amy in front, and Gunmad would have been in a good place to make that move if he had got it done into turn 1, but now he's got to fight a Super 97 in a straight line, and well, quite frankly, good luck with that. Even with the slipstream, good luck with that. Amy should be able to just put this car in the middle of the track and go, yeah, that's mine. Either way, we're going back a little bit. Gunmad looks to have a go, and Gunmad's had a bit of an issue. He looked to have a go, but he went too deep. He went too quick and didn't get enough on the brakes, and that will just allow for everyone to go right back on through. Amy and Bota now up the top of the hill, and Amy's had a bit of an issue there. Yuri on the inside now, who looks like he's just tapped Amy, and it's just all unfolding very quickly here up the hill. What a absolute chaos going up the hill on lap 4. Amy got tapped on the way through. I think there may have been collision with Bota. Bota, then Yuri tried to put his nose in, got alongside and tapped Amy on the outside after launching himself off the inside curb. And after all that, look at Auto's lead. That lead is utterly ridiculous. I mean, he's not been caught up in any of the drama behind. Absolute, just all over the place here behind him. And what's that, 10, 15 second lead? It's lap 4. How has this happened? It looks like Bota's managed to take advantage of the moment as well, gets himself up in the second. It literally is it's a Sunday stroll now at this point for Auto, as long as he doesn't spin. And even, quite frankly, even if he did spin at this point, I still think he'd win the race. I don't think there'd be much of an issue in that either. Absolute cruise control, and we're not even a quarter of the way through. Yeah, Yuri is just in front of Hans here for 4th and 5th. We'll definitely divert our attention away from the lead of the race, because this race is already settled. And quite frankly, I don't think we could call it much of a race in this context either. We've got Amy trying to get herself back towards Bota, who's got himself a little bit of a gap now. They're in second. And you got Yuri and Hans. Hans obviously benefiting from the split tires, literally split tires, not split strategy, but literally split tires, as Yuri is able to hold on there. His hand went a bit deep and hit the wall on the outside of turn 3. Going through, Yuri is able to still hang on here. He needs to get closer to that 2nd and 3rd place, as Amy is now right on the back of Bota all over again. Let's have a look. Is anything happening further down the grid? You've got Gunmad from Just Ethan. Those two should have an interesting fight in the rest of this lap until Gunmad gets it a little bit shaky there down the hill, and again, it's not in control of his car at all down the hill here. And just Ethan not able to capitalize just yet, as all the, it looked like, yeah, Ethan and Monty directly behind. As we head down here, see if any, into the back straight, see if there's going to be any sort of movement on the grid. Ethan looking for a way through, doesn't get it, because he's just got himself too far on the inside there, going into the final chicane, and well, when you get there, you start to touch a little bit of grass. It's never usually a good place to be, and means he's not getting the position on Gunmad for now. He's just holding on as much as he possibly can up in the final couple of corners. It looks like he's going to be able to do it right now. Gunmad holds on through turn 1. With just even behind him, Monty directly behind that. A little bit further in front, you've got Hans from Yuri, and then Amy and Bota also right beside each other in lap 6 here. Amy on the outside, Bota on the inside. And I think Amy's got a bit too deep on the outside. With, yeah, and that's going to allow for Yuri to just go on by without many questions being asked here. I don't think he's going to complain either. You'd much rather be the second man in the train rather than the third, which is where Amy currently finds herself. You know, Hans, the fourth man in the train, and we'll figure out whether or not he's going to be able to impact this race from his position as we continue on here. We've got about 3 laps-ish and some change before we see pit stops, I think. Maybe just a little bit less than that. Yuri's picked up all the penalties in the world there. 2.5 seconds for cutting over the grass. Yeah, Otto is just absolutely cruise control. He's even bigger of his lead now. He's got entire sectors in hand. At this point in this race, Yuri serving the penalty. He'll go ghosted. He's now going to drop all the way back into the hand of Gunmad and just Ethan, I think, rather than being fighting for the front, well, for second, because that's technically the highest position anyone's getting here. Gunmad going through. So did Ethan, and Monty has got it wrong. Monty has got it very, very wrong. It just looks like he's gone way too much to the inside here. Looked for a move or potential defense on there. Yeah, against Jin, and goes onto the grass, and he shoved Yuri off the track as well. Has no defense to that one. No defense to that one whatsoever, as Monty is all over the place again. Gets it all wrong, so does Jin on the outside of the final corner. Just about keeps his car going. In the middle of the pack here, just cannot drive the car around the final sector of Bathurst for some odd reason. Monty getting a bit too much on the grass on the outside. That caused a bit of a domino effect here. Takes Yuri out. And then Jin gets a little bit squirrely on the exit. Starts lawnmowing as well. And it's just absolute chaos at the beginning of lap 7. Gunmad and Ethan still right beside each other. Everyone still fighting for second place as well. Because quite frankly, there's no hope in hell of getting anywhere near that front of the race, because literally Auto, this has to be, what, 15, 20 seconds of a gap, which is absolutely outstanding for 7 laps. We're 7 laps in, and this race is literally already over. Ethan just about hanging on to the back of Gunmad here. We'll see who's going to be the first one to blink between these two. Ethan really loved that inside line going into the final corner of the hill. He probably should start opening up a little bit. Maybe it gets him a nicer line through the corner if he can start to open it up. But we'll wait and see if he realizes that as he's now going alongside Gunmad. We've just seen what happens with the side-by-side thing here going wrong, but this time it's not going to go wrong as Gunmad just about saves his car. He went a bit deep there and just about keeps his car on the track. And somehow, out of all of that, held his position against just Ethan. They've got Jin right behind that. Yuri trying to fight his way back after the incident with him and Monty a couple laps prior. Heading up the hill again now, down up towards turn 2. Well, no, nothing really happening here between second, third, and fourth. Both are doing more than enough to hold off Amy with Hans in fourth. And quite frankly, a little bit lucky nobody saw this earlier. And continuing to go through, and it doesn't look like Gunmad's having fun with his rear left and rear right. In particular, Ethan just a bit deep again. And any chances he had against Gunmad have just fallen by the wayside. Another mistake for Ethan and another opportunity squandered. And we're now at the top of the hill. He's not lost a position as of such, but he has lost a chance to gain an extra position here. With Gunmad very much in control of 5th place. And even more so now, as Ethan's just plowed himself into the wall. Into the wall goes Ethan again. And he is just not able to keep his car on the track at this point in time. Heading further up the grid very quickly. Let's see if anything can happen here between Amy and Boater. As they head down towards the final chicane, Boater's just doing enough to put his car in the right position to hold off Amy as much as humanly possible. Boater on the medium tyres, Amy on the softs. If only he realised those tyres gone beforehand. I think that Peugeot could have done a soft here at Bathurst, and it would have given Boater a really good opportunity at second on the podium. Auto still had a hefty lead, an entire straight between first and second in this race. As Auto has entered himself up the hill before we've even entered the end of the first sector, as we've just gone past that now down into turn 2 with Amy and Boater. The Hans directly behind that. Gunmad's still there as well. Just about sliding his way through, may I add, against, well, that means Ethan's going to be able to just kind of drag himself back in to this one at this point. Doesn't look like anything's going to happen up the hill. That's to be expected. Bathurst and overtakes are not synonymous. As we continue here watching the battle for 5th and 6th. It's going to be still in Gunmad's hands for now. Doesn't look like that was too comfortable for the Peugeot. I think that's a Supra. They're still just, not a Supra, sorry, that's a Nissan, not a Toyota. I apparently am blind. GTR 18, I believe, Ethan. Yeah, in Ethan's car. Should have enough here to get past Gunmad with the slipstream, but I don't know if he is going to be able to. He looked to it. Definitely looked for it, but he's going to have to back off because he's not. Again, close enough for a move on Gunmad, who's just defending like his life literally depends on it right now. Heading down into the final corner. There's a white line. That's a solid white line there, Ethan. You're not meant to cut that. He has done anyway. Gunmad stays out. Boater stays out. Auto stays out as well. The pit stop here for Hans, Amy, Ethan. Yes, there's a few medium tyres going on cars at this point in time. Jin also in as well. Those tyres are falling off, essentially fallen off a cliff. Yeah, let's see if he did get one. Amy comes out in 8th, just ahead of Monty by the looks of things. Ethan didn't get a penalty. Fair enough, I guess. GT just having a little bit of a moment. I'm pretty sure he cut a white line. But it is what it is. Jin out in 12th, ahead of his teammate in 13th, who hasn't pitted yet. And then he has decided that that's not a pit lane he wants to take normally. I can't talk. That's literally what I did on the opposite side of the pit lane, but that's besides the point. Steele in 13th, not having a good time. Jin there, Ethan, Fracas, and Monty. Monty has pit. Oh no, Monty hasn't pit, sorry. Ethan has, Fracas hasn't either. Fracas needs to get himself in control of that McLaren, but he's plowed himself into a wall again. And the McLarens have continued to have a bad day at the office. Dead yellow flags, but the question is, who is the yellow flags for? We're going down the hill. Auto's now in the pit. Fracas has gone round as well. Deco and Fracas are the same point. Oh my god. Another spin in the McLaren. Deco and Fracas are both spanned in identical situations there at the exact same point. Called in yellow flag, Jin's up into 10th without really having to do much of anything. Auto's in the pit, Gunmad's in the pit. Boater has stayed out. Ethan's going to try and go after Monty here. Ethan has pit already. Monty has not. We'll see where people come out in a minute. Auto should still be very comfortably in net P1 of this race after his pit stop, and is very comfortably in that position as well. I see Lord Hans saw my comment from earlier then. God fucking damn it. It looks like Gunmad has just come out the pits here. Ethan has finally got him with the undercut. It looks like Ethan's going to have Monty here as well. And he gets him down the straight. Not many questions asked whatsoever there. And he's just going to very kindly take that position, place his car in the middle of the track so there can't be a fight back here from Monty either. And that is just going to be exactly what Ethan wanted out of the pit. He's jumped Gunmad. He's overtaken Monty without much questions asked, and he's got Amy in his sights. Hans has pitted onto a set of medium tyres now, which is a interesting conundrum after split tyres, I'll say that much. But doing well nonetheless at the moment in that GTR 13. I don't think the GTR 13 has been used in 5 seasons. I don't remember seeing a GTR 13 since I drove the GTR 13. They got nerfed into oblivion on the physics update at the end of Season 8, where they changed basically, literally everything, and the fundamentals of the league changed with it. Boater's now into the pits as well off the medium tyres, 7% fuel left in the car. Let's have a look. Auto's already into the final straight, so Auto's going to take the lead of this race by a handsome margin. You got Hans in second as it stands as well, doing a very good job of just hanging with it right now. Let's see if he's going to get out in front of Boater. Boater's got the fueling to do, so yeah, that's going to be definitely going to be the case here for Hans, who's going to come out in second. Boater against Amy, and just even behind. Ethan's got a very good run at this now. Boater's going to come out the pits, but he's going to come out the pits behind these two. He's been jumped as well, and the RCZs are not having a good run at this. Both getting done in the pit lane, so Boater dropped from second to 5th in this race. Amy and just Ethan jumping him as well. Absolute, it's incredible at this point. how certain things function. Not entirely sure Hans has enough fuel, by the way. That looked like a substantial lack of fuel compared to everyone else. Also, in this point, I will take a note and say that Auto's lead has shrunk significantly in this race. But he still has a very commanding lead over the rest of the grid. Yeah, Hans has got it wrong. Hans has definitely got this all sorts of wrong. Heading down the grid, heading down the hill, sorry. We've got Amy and Ethan still sat right beside each other right now. Ethan trying to get close enough to take that into an actual move that actually he might be able to make stick. It looks like we've got nothing here happening for Ethan against Amy. And yeah, Amy's just going to be able to pick up where she left off before the pit stops, and quite frankly doesn't have a RCZ in the way this time to make sure that well, to stop her from trying to catch up to the leader of the race as a whole. And quite frankly, we're in a position there where a 1-2 should become very, very, very feasible for Amy to do, for Amy and Auto to get a 1-2 here. Lost a train of thought in those Supras, unless something happens to Amy here or to Auto, which would be incredibly surprising considering Auto has managed to open up the lead a little bit again as we head up the hill now as Amy gets overtaken there by just Ethan. It's a nice little move. It's a nice little move, and Ethan now in control of the battle for P2, given that I think Hans has to pit again. Hans definitely got the pace at the moment, just not realistically doing anything at the moment to rectify the situation here, Hans. And Amy's just dropping off a little bit on Ethan as well. Ethan starting to make his way back towards Auto, and well, he's got a lot of ground to make up for that with about 6 laps left to go of the race, which is without a mistake for Auto, that gap is completely insurmountable. Auto has turned this race into a complete joke. Here I was thinking we might have something very interesting for the lead of the race here, because it's Bathurst and mistakes usually happen a ton, but nope, Auto has decided to brave us off that. And Yuri ahead of Jin at the moment. Yuri doing a decent job. You know, Monty in 9th right now, in relation to Monty, nowhere near. Absolutely nowhere near, and also half a lap behind anybody else, any of the top 8 who are coming through the first straight down towards turn 2, as we're currently watching these guys come down the back straight toward the final chicane. Deco with Fracas and Steo, and oh, he's gone round again. Someone turn the screen grey, put the water effect over the top of it, and just play play Mad World, and that's probably the best way of summing that situation up. But yeah, right, let's go back through to the front of the grid. I just had to shine a light on Turkey for a minute there. I didn't even realise he had spun. It was just a bit of unfortunate timing. Amy still in 4th. Ethan getting close to the Hands. Certainly a lot closer to the Hands. And yeah, Hands hasn't got enough laps. That's not enough time. That's not enough in the tank there. That tank should be toward the halfway point. Maybe a little bit less if you've got enough fuel in the car. If your fuel goes to 17, for 13 instead of 12, which I know some people do. Some people can go a little bit further than that as well. It just doesn't look like Hans. Yeah, Hans has screwed this up. No way he hasn't. Well, it's going to be very interesting to see where he ends up on the grid then. With Ethan in third, Amy in fourth. This race just starting to meander along a little bit now. Boat getting on the grass, doing a little bit of grass cutting here for the guys at Bathurst. Make sure that they don't have to do it for him. So they again at turn one there. Gunmad in sixth, Yuri in seventh, who I thought would be doing a lot more in order to rectify his position after the incident with Monty earlier. Hasn't really been able to do it. Jin in eighth, getting closer to Yuri than Yuri is to Gunmad. Monty in ninth, Deco in 10th, Fracas in 11th, Vistio in 12th. Vidya must have had an issue as well, because Vidya was right beside Monty on the last lap. So Vidya must have had an issue here as well, sporting the old Real Madrid colours. Brings me back, just looking at that brings me back all the way to a fucking 2002 kit for Real Madrid. That's what it feels like anyway. Old-fashioned Galacticos and all of that. Maybe that's what it was going for. And Turty's being blue flagged. Turty is being blue flagged, and he's going to get lapped here by Auto with 4 to go. Really? You're having a problem with the McLaren? Interesting. I'm surprised. The McLaren is arguably one of the better cars in the league. What do you mean, Auto? What do you mean? You go through here. Let's see if Auto can get... The main entertainment right now is Auto trying to overtake... overtake Turty for lapping. What happened here? When did Hans get overtaken? Ethan, look at that on the inside now of Hans. Nice little run out the final corner. And that, right there, is the differences between your two Nissan GTRs. That's just depressing. The car doesn't suit us. That's fair. That's fair. It's not going to suit everyone. MR cars can be a little bit twitchy at times. I feel like that's probably the McLaren's probably the most stable of the MR car. That's for certain. We're just currently meandering along a little bit in this race, so much that well, it's quite funny that we're just not even talking about the actual race anymore. We're going into this one. Going into turn 2. They're just starting to separate again, aren't they? Ethan's got a hefty advantage now on Hans, who's got all sorts of issues right now in terms of the fuel. It should allow Bota onto the podium as well. A new Austrian champion for the first time in 11 years. Things you'd love to see. Who's won it? Oh, who won it? But yeah, Gunmad also up in the 5th, so something must have happened to Amy as well. Amy must have had a bit of an issue or two, because Amy's down in 7th now. Must have missed that in trying to figure out what was actually going on and trying to find something to look at. Amy has actually dropped behind Gunmad and Yuri. Yuri up to 6th now, and I think he might have just got himself another penalty for cutting the inside there. Might get away with that. He has got away with that. That's just about, but he won't get away with that. Maybe he will. Just about hits the wall and somehow escapes damage. You've got you've got Amy who's trying to fight back against Yuri, got the straight line speed, and the car now in a slipstream as well, and that Lancer is just going to get decimated in a straight line by that Super 97. And quite frankly, it wasn't ever going to be in a competition. Yuri now back behind Amy, as Amy looks to try and work her way back through, and maybe into the top 5. Maybe not going to get a podium, but oh, it doesn't look too good for Hans here, who's got a problem. And he's going to get overtaken by Gunmad, and Hans is well and truly into fuel mode 6. And that is an incredible, that's a huge issue for Hans, who's just going to plummet down the grid now. Should still end in the top 8. But that's because everyone else is just starting to fall. Everyone else after 8th position is just falling apart just a little bit. It looks like we got a three-way fight here. Hans, Yuri, and Amy. Yuri got back in front of Amy not that long ago. Yuri's going to have a go at Hans now. Hans is in a huge amount of issues right now, given the fact that there's no fuel in that car, and there's no fuel in the car, you've got no pace, and when you've got no pace, you're just going to drop like a rock, and all he can do is try and put this car in the most inconvenient places possible for Yuri and Amy, and hold them up just a little bit. And he's doing that with a pretty good sense of skill at the moment. Doing enough as we head down the hill, but of course, now the fact that we've just headed to a straight, he's probably in a lot of trouble. Not got the straight line speed because there's no fuel in the car. He's definitely messed it up. And here comes Yuri and Amy, and this should not be a difficult overtake. There goes Yuri, and here comes Amy, and there you go. Hans drops down to 7th, where's Jin? Here comes Amy on Yuri again. These two keep battling down into this final chicane. Who's going to get it this time? Amy is well in front as we head into the chicane this time. Someone has had a bit of an issue. 30 is in the grass again. I was trying to figure out if that was someone in the grass a lot further forward, but it's not. It's 30 again. Hans is in the pits. Yep, he's out of fuel. He is out of fuel. He's got damage. And he just absolutely screwed himself. Got the strategy all sorts of wrong. Here comes Yuri against Amy again. Maybe that Lancer's going to be able to fight back. It's going to take a lot. He's going to have to get a great turn 2 and then an even better turn 3 to try and fight it, which he isn't going to get. And if you aren't going to get that, you're in trouble against that Supra. And quite frankly, should have a run from here. With about 3 minutes left on the clock, there might be enough time here for Amy to go after Gunmad. It's going to be close, especially if Amy can get a good lap or two here, and probably not. Go into the wall, it's probably not a great idea. Gunmad just in front. Yuri still hanging right tightly to the back of Amy as well. And then ahead of Gunmad, Bota in cruise control in terms of his podium position right now. Same with Ethan, who's just in comfortably in second. Here comes Yuri on the outside of the downhill section. Can he get it done? Even against the straight line speed of a Supra. That was one hell of a run down the hill. He's going to need a little bit of help. He's not going to get a little bit of help, as Amy has got enough straight line speed to hang on for just a little while longer. As long as she can get this chicane right, she should be fine, and she does. Should be able to hold on against Yuri now, right up to the end, right up to probably the same point in the final lap of the race. We go around, and the Supra doing more than enough to hang on and give enough pace here for Amy, as Yuri is now going to go to the inside of turn 1. Can he do it down the inside? He is going to do it down the inside. The only issue is now there's a slipstream and a Supra in a slipstream on a straight. which is never a good idea against a Lancer. Amy had a chance here if she wants a top 5, but Yuri has done enough to hang on for dear life down the straights, and this is the point where he's going to excel just a little bit. As we head up the hill, the super brakes are not going to do it any favors. The Yuri should start to break away just a little bit. Yuri shouldn't have much to worry about for his 5th position now. Gunmad in front, doing enough to hang on to 4th as well. The tire's not really good for him at the moment, so but as long as he makes no mistakes, he should do enough for 4th place. Here comes Boater down the hill. He's through the main section. That may cause issues. May cause issues as Gunmad's in the wall. And as soon as I say, as long as he doesn't make a mistake, he should be fine. He's made the mistake. And he's going to be made to pay for that mistake, I think, as well. Here comes Auto. They've got 17 seconds to get over the line to start lap 20. And Auto will. So we're going to go and have a look between Gunmad and Yuri here. Yuri makes it look easy after Gunmad's got no tyres left and a lot of damage on that car. Just shot himself in the foot there in terms of getting 4th. He's cost himself dearly. He's dropped from 4th to 5th for certain. Yuri's not giving that up in the final corner unless there's a mistake. Ethan's gone round, finishes in 2nd. Boater's going to get 3rd. It's a decent day for the RCZ to the constructor. Then you've got Yuri, who comes over in 4th. Gunman in 5th. Jin is going to get 6th as Amy is out of fuel. Amy is out of fuel, so Jin is ending in 6th. Well, Jin has ended in 6th, Amy's ended in 7th, Hans is also in the same place, so he absolutely screwed up his strategy. Gone from 2nd to 8th. Monty gets 9th. Deco's going to get 10th. Laptop fell on you in the extra lap. How does that happen? Deco comes over the line for 10th. Vidya, the next one over the line. Then you've got Fracas and Steo who are fighting for 12th and 13th. Yeah, Vidya should come over the line here in 11th. And then we'll go and get Auto's victory lap in. Yep, Vidya over in 11th. Fracas is gonna hold on against Steo here. Fracas ends up in 12th. Steo ends up in 13th. Turty obviously been lapped, and here comes Auto to the line after his laptop falls on him apparently. But oh, yeah, that'll do it. And definitely onto the spot when Auto's laptop had a bit of a meltdown as he comes toward the line now. And there you go. And now finishes out the race as he wins the feature race here in Bathurst. It goes 2 from 2 in the feature races here in Tier 4. What a start to the season for Auto. Two feature races, 2 reverse grid poles, 2 clears, and 2 absolutely dominating wins with an extra lap. Absolutely no stopping him through the first 2 races, especially in the feature races, and I'm pretty sure for the first 2 he's definitely on top of the world. I'm going to go and pretend not to look at the rest of the standings and hopefully get to a Bathurst standing so we'll figure out where we are. So let's have a look. Yeah, after the second race, you've got Yuri on 62, Ethan on 60, Auto on 53. So Auto's lack of a sprint race is hindering him badly right now. And then you've got Jin on 49, despite only having a best place of the 3rd. Deco on 41. And that rounds out the top 5. So the top 5 split by 21 points. In terms of the constructors, after 2, Peugeot RCZ on 81, Supra 97 on 71, Corvette on 71, Porsche on 68, Lancer on 65, and GTR 18 on 60. It's a very tight-knit race here in the constructors through 2 weeks. But nonetheless, I think that rounds out everything I had. Everything I have for you today. I'm not doing a second one. And quite frankly, I don't want to annoy my neighbors any more than I have done. Next week, racing from Slovenia. That's going to be an extremely interesting one. But yeah, I will see you guys. I'm trying to figure out what the next day I can do if it comes on. I've got the 2-hour endurance tomorrow. Could potentially do one Saturday night. Not entirely sure. If not, it'll be Sunday morning. But yeah, until that point, until we meet again for Saint Croix, I will see you guys next time. See you in 2 months. Fuck's sake.